Hello, Colin.
Hello.
Yeah, Colin, how you doing, champ? Yo, it's Errol from Facebook.
How you everybody? You alright? You good?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm here with Boxing Rhymes and Beats. Yeah, he records the interview.
How you doing, man?
Not too bad, my friend. How you doing? Okay.
Do you have time to share a few moments with us?
Yeah, that's fine, man. No problem.
Oh, that's lovely. That's lovely, man. How's life after boxing? What's happening in the world of Colin Mcmillan?
Life's good at the moment.
Okay.
I mean, to be fair, I'm just got quite a few different kind of ventures on, so enjoying retirement. I've got like a little boxing training center and a little academy I'm trying to develop over in Redbridge. So we're doing a couple of classes for adults and young people. Starting a new program for kids in the new year. So that's one of the projects I've kind of got on. We've got a little agency looking after fighters for personal appearances and dinners. So, you know, that's another area. And I put on a few different kind of events. So, you know, to be fair, I've been quite busy.
Okay.
And keep myself occupied.
Right, because I'm not stalking you. I don't know. I've never met you, right? But I know so much about it because I grew up in your era. I know you're very well educated. Yeah, I remember that.
When I left school.
Yeah. How comes most? I don't want to sound condescending to other boxers. How comes you decided education was just as important as a boxing career?
But to be fair, it's like my parents have always kind of like when I was young, they always impressed upon me the importance of getting a good education. And you know, I do quite a few projects in schools at the moment, and that's one of the things I always try and instill in young people, you know, how important it is to kind of get education, because even if you're gonna you know, pursue a sporting career, you never know when it can come to an end. And even if you do make it, if you've got an education, you know, you can look after your money and look after yourself. So I would say education is one of the most important things in life, really. So that's one of the things I try to talk to young people about.
Right. That's exactly why I asked the question, because I know there's a lot of young guys who listen to the channel, and I want you to know that, yeah, just because you're a great boxer and you mean the world's your oyster because you're young, it has to come to an end at some time. Would you agree with that, Colin? You know, it's vital.
What's that about? If you take my career as a perfect example, you know, I was flying high.
Yeah.
I was world champion, and everything was going fine. There was some, you know, big money fights out there, and then obviously I got my injury.
Yeah.
And in a certain way that kind of cut my career short. But you know, I'd say with an education, you can kind of like learn, you know, fall, and then you come back, land on your feet, and go in a different direction. And that's why I say it's so important to try and get a decent education and be able to. I always say to people, it's about thinking for yourself, not listening to other people and doing what I tell you to do. If you've got an education, you can learn to make your own decisions and make your own way in life.
I'm just gonna say this, yeah. The night when you lost your title, right? My dad was so sad. Mm-hmm. And me, I was sad. You know what I mean? We were just like, oh man, you know what I mean? That was, you know, we were so sad, man, because my dad, like, people don't realize you was like a precocious, and I'm not just saying it because you're on the line. Like, this guy was a great, I know you're not going to say it because you're going to be modest, but you was an absolutely classically styled boxer, man. You know what I mean?
True.
It's just the truth.
Yeah. I mean, it was going well. I mean, I said at the time, everything was going great. I mean, obviously, Don King from over to America to try and sign me out. But, you know, everything was kind of going really, really well. But as I say, you know, you never know what's around the corner. When that injury dislocated my shoulder, when it happened, you know, I was never the same after that. But, you know, such is life.
Yeah. And you was a great amateur. How much times did you win the ABAs?
Actually, to be fair, I missed 1 year. I was London champion 4 times. Yeah. I was the box for England quite a few times. I got to two finals. I lost two split decisions both times. Both times I thought I won. A lot of people thought I won. I didn't get the amateur thing. And the last year was the year for the Seoul Olympics. That was always my dream, to kind of go to the Olympics like Muhammad Ali, like Sugar Leonard, and to get a gold medal. And in that year, I kind of like was in the squad. And I boxed the guy in the final. I put him down in the first round. I thought I won the fight. As a lot of people thought I won the fight, but I didn't get a decision. And the other guy went to the Olympics, and I turned pro.
I'm going to say the names of 2 boxers, because these are the guys I think influenced your style: Sugar Ray Leonard and Muhammad Ali.
Without a doubt, I mean, you say those are my two biggest inspirations when I was growing up. You know, as a kid, it was Muhammad Ali. You know, watching him on TV, watching him perform, and you know, he's a big figure even bigger figure outside of the sport. So he was a big inspiration. And obviously later on, as I started getting a little bit older, and I watched Sugar Ray Leonard and the way that he fought. And I tell you, boxing's all about hitting and not getting hit.
Yeah.
It's a noble art self-defense, and you know, boxing's a tough sport, and you want to make sure when you finish your career, you've all got your mental faculties intact. You know, if you see many guys take too many punches, and the human brain wasn't meant to be punched, so you've got to try and learn to defend yourself.
Yeah. I remember when you stopped Gary Daruma, man, and like that was just some masterful boxing, because he was one tough domestic opponent. Like he was strong as anything, man. And like I was shocked. I thought you was gonna outpoint him when you stopped him. I was like, wow.
Yeah, that was, to be fair, that's my kind of like my favourite fight, because obviously me and Gary, we're good friends now. We speak to each other on the phone and everything. At the time, he was like a tough guy, and he was a puncher, and people said to me at the time, stay away from that guy. Yeah. He's a bit of a banger, dangerous. The fight went really well. I had an injury before the fight, leading up to the fight. It's my ankle, but the fight itself, was great. We had a good fight. Got caught a couple of times, and so I was lucky enough to stop him. And we went at the London Arena. It was a great occasion, and at the time I became a champion. So it was a good and a big night for me.
Yeah. Sean Murphy, that guy was tough, because I don't know how you gave him such a boxing lesson and beat him. And like, your boxing was just I don't think, is it up on YouTube? Because people are probably thinking that I'm brown nosing. If it's up on YouTube, go and watch this guy against Sean Murphy, and you'll see what I'm talking about. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You'll see what I'm talking about.
That was a good performance. And it's funny enough. I busted my hand against Sean. His head was so hard, and I hit him quite a few times. And we had a good fight.
Sean was a good fighter.
We had fought together. Yeah, and he had a bit of a right hand and that. But as I say, luckily, I boxed quite well that night, and I was able to outmaneuver him. Yeah. And it was a great night. And that was at the Albert Hall. So it was kind of like great to top the bill at the Albert Hall. So that was another special night for me.
Definitely. And I remember Percy Campbell, he was a tall African. He actually gave you a bit of trouble to a few things to solve, but you got there in the end.
He did, yeah. It was a tough night, man. I looked at him, and he looked quite skinny, and I thought, yes, I'm going to break this guy up. But he was tough, and he gave me quite a tough fight. I think he used to spar for Zuma Nelson back in the day.
Yeah.
And I'd say looks can be deceptive, and he turned out to be quite a difficult opponent, and it took me a bit of time to work him out.
Yeah. And the Mauricio, when you won the WBO title, man, oh gosh, like the boxing news and they had it as a close, 50-50, but you just made it look easy. It was like you fight at Southern Area level, man. I was just like, what's going on? You know what I mean? Yeah.
I was hyped for that fight. I mean, that's a big fight. I mean, obviously, for all the years I've been training, for June to become a world champion, that chance came.
Yeah.
And Stecker was I'll tell you, he's a former Olympic champion. And I would say, where my dream had been to go to the Olympics, I didn't go there. But the next best thing was to go and beat a guy who had gone to the Olympics and got a gold medal, and he also got the best boxer of the tournament.
Yeah.
So when I actually went and I beat him. In some ways, it made up for me not winning my own gold medal. But I know it was a great night, and I boxed well, and outmaneuvered him a bit too fast, and
And you hurt him a couple of times as well. Yeah. You hurt him quite badly.
Yeah. I mean, the fight progressed the last couple of rounds, and I started getting to him.
Yeah.
Started breaking him up.
Yeah.
But he went the full way, and it was a good fight.
The only criticism you used to get from the public is that you didn't stop enough people, and I think you wanted to make sure that you cracked him hard enough. That you didn't just outbox him. You wanted to make an imprint. So that you look extra focused that night, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always say, sometimes people talk about the punch and pound and everything. But if you hit something hard enough, often enough, eventually, no matter who you are, you're gonna go. Well, and that's always been my mindset. You don't start putting yourself on the line and start unloading too much, but try and break them up, take your time. Yeah,
you could have got more stoppages than what you did, but like you said, you boxed an economical fight. You knew that you could hit and not get hit, and that's the way to do it.
Yeah, that's it. That's 100%. It now.
Now, man, the Ruben Palacios fight. Sorry, Errol, you haven't. I know you're.
No. That's fine. I'm just fine because I'm trying to catch up.
Yeah.
I only got a few questions for Colin, but it was your era, so
all right.
go ahead.
Let's just go through the resume, then I'll let you come in. The Ruben Palacios fight. Now, I mean, I'm not even going to talk about one because you was winning the fight. You was winning, right?
Yeah. To be fair, though, I mean, he kind of caught me. I think if it caught me for a good left hook, and having a little bit of trouble for a little bit of time, but I regained control of the fight, and was back on top. And then I'd say, I think in the 7th or 8th round, I went for a shot, and he came underneath, lifted up, and then he put my shoulder up, and obviously I tried to carry on fighting for a little bit, but the referee took the fight, and I lost my world championship. After all that hard work, and that it just come to an end like that. So it just shows you how unpredictable boxing can be sometimes.
Yeah, definitely. Because like you saying, you was flying, like you was up there. At least with you, Banks and Ben and them guys, you was up there. And like well, that's what people forget sometimes. At the time, I was flying the flag, and as I say, that them times that Don King flew me over to America to try and find me up, and that was the golden era. You said you had Ben Eubank, Watson, Leonard Fluid, all them kind of guys at the same time. So it was kind of, I was doing well, but unfortunately, it wasn't meant to be. Yeah. Like the Steve Robinson fight, I remember that was a brave performance because your shoulder hadn't recovered and you shouldn't have really took the fight. Am I right?
Yes and no. I mean, to be fair, what happened for that fight? I had an operation after the Palacios fight. I had a pin put in, a nail pin put in, and when I started sparring, it kind of got dislodged. But financially, I needed to fight. I mean, I couldn't afford to take a warm-up fight in case it went there. I needed to fight, so I knew the fight wasn't 100%, but I still felt even if the one hand I would have enough ability to beat Steve Robinson. But if you win the fight, he originally hoping to take place in London. He got switched to Cardiff, and Steve was strong. You'll go give it to him.
Yeah. Steve was
he was very strong, very game, and on the day it's a close fight, but he got the nod.
Yeah.
So,
I'm going to go backtrack a little bit, man. It's what happened to Palacios. He actually contracted HIV and had to vacate the title. Remember that?
Yeah. I mean, I remember kind of driving along and I heard the news and I said, so-and-so tested positive for HIV. And I remember at the time, there was a big kick up in the papers and that, and I had to kind of go and get myself tested. Fortunately, I was obviously kind of clear.
Yeah.
But, it was a worrying time for a little bit. And, I think since then, the border control tightened up the medical procedures, and he unfortunately he died a few years later.
Yeah, that's
right. So it was quite a sad case.
Well, I didn't even think about the implications that it could have had on you. But was there any really bad cuts in the fight? I can't remember. There wasn't no cuts, I don't think, in the fight. So
no, there was a few cuts actually. I think I got cut. I got quite a few cuts over my face for that fight. But there was a lot of blood flying around, so I had to kind of go and make sure I was tested. So fortunately, everything was fine.
Wow. Your last fight, obviously, was with Paul Ingle. The fortunes of his career is just catastrophic. Are you still in contact with him, or have you heard of his story?
I see Paul. They had a fundraiser for him down in Norwich, I think, last year. I've seen him down there. And, he's kind of like he's put on a lot of weight. But, he's still mentally, his faculties are still intact. And, he's sad to say, obviously, he's got a brain injury and he's in a bad way. But he's kind of he's kind of getting through it.
Yeah.
But, he was a tough little fight. I remember coming into the fight, I looked at him and I didn't kind of give him as much respect as I should have, because I was looking past him. We were looking to try and get the fight with Nassim Hamid. And, I saw him, I thought he's good, but I fought guys who were, stronger, better than him. And, in a little way, I was fit, but I wasn't really, as, clued up as I should have been, and, he was good. He was very good, very strong, very fit. And he managed to outwork me.
Well, let's face it. Let's face it. I'm not saying you would have definitely won at your peak, but come on, man. I mean, if it was a few years back, I don't see him.
That's it, Hamid.
Before, I think it would have been a different result. Yeah.
How would you have gone about trying to fight Nassim Hamid?
Great question.
It's funny, 'cause we sparred years ago when I was about to fight for the British Championship, and he was an amateur down in Sheffield. I went down to Sheffield to do some training at different clubs, and we sparred down there. And back in there, I always thought we would fight because because he was coming through, and I know from the spar that we had that he always had a lot of respect for me. So I've always been confident with fighting that, but he can bang a bit. But if you look at his career, the guys that have always given trouble are the guys who can box and move. People like Medina, Daniel Alessia, Kevin Kelly.
Brera.
Those kind of guys who always kind of give him trouble. And with me, I had a good chin. I've only been put down twice in my whole career. So I was always confident, but it would have been a tough fight because, he's a great fighter. But it's a shame it never happened.
Yeah, bro.
So you never got the urge to go back in the ring after the Ingle fight? You knew it was a wrap by then, did you? Or...
I always said, when I retire, I want to retire for good. I don't want to see fighters kind of retiring and coming back. And I never want to go out there and be like a stepping stone for other fighters. So they come back and, you get beaten by guys that really and truly, beat them a few years before.
Yeah.
You would have beaten. I never wanted to be that way. So, I had a long think. And as I say, ever since the injury, the shoulder was never the same again. So, I thought to myself, it's better to kind of like walk away gracefully and, try and find new mountains to climb.
Yeah, man. Colin Mcmillan, people, great fighter, man. That's all I'm going to say.
So Colin, if you had a chance to fight anyone in any era, past and present, what would be your dream match?
Who would I like to fight?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think someone like maybe like Mayweather. Just to find. Yeah. Because he's a truly great fighter. And
super
I don't know. There's so many. I mean, obviously, you always want to try and find out how or wonder how you would do against certain individuals. But there's so many great fighters. From Leonard to Hearns. Duran. Aguilera, Pryor. There's so many guys. You think yourself, you know what? I'd just like to see how I would have fared against those kind of guys.
Definitely. So, would you say Floyd is the best fighter of our generation?
Yeah, I think I always fancy Floyd to beat Manny Pacquiao. I think both great fighters, but I just think with Floyd he's got that that one thing which is the most important thing in any fight, which is speed. If you've got that speed, you've got an advantage of everybody. And defensively, he's very, very good. And I think he'd be hard for anybody of our era to beat.
Okay, definitely so, man. So, what ventures have you got coming up with? Tell me. I know you listed your businesses earlier, and you're doing promotions, aren't you?
I don't really do much promotions now. So where I used to, when I retired, after going over to the management, I managed Audley Housen when he won the Olympic gold medal.
Yeah,
managed him for the first 2 years. So I was involved with that when he had the BBC coverage and that. So that was good. There was another nice little ride to kind of like. It's a shame, obviously, his career didn't go or didn't fulfill his full potential.
Yeah,
that was kind of good.
Colin, why do you think he didn't fulfill his potential? Do you know, like, any insight into that? Was he not taking it too seriously, or like elaborate on that?
I think it's a lot of different things, really. A lot of different things. From day one, the path which all he wanted to take, managing himself and promoting himself, was always going to be more difficult.
Yeah.
And obviously when you got the establishment, against you, the status quo that they'll promote the existing promoting everything else, it's always going to be, hard. And sometimes, Audi didn't help himself by, certain things that he said, and it made it a bit harder for him to kind of get through. And, sometimes I don't think, particularly when you're a fighter, you've got to concentrate 100% on the boxing.
That's right, yeah.
It's good to be, obviously I was self-managed when I boxed, but you've got to have people around you who you can trust and you have to delegate and let them kind of get on with it, because, you need to make sure that the boxing, that's the most important thing, because if that falls down...
How did you see that fight with Price?
Well, I think Auden is quite a bit of an enigma. You never know what you can get with Auden. And sometimes when you don't expect it, he'll kind of pull it through. And I thought, to be fair, I don't think it would finish the way that it did. But and as quickly as it did. But heavyweight boxing is a funny sport. You just don't know. And that's always the thing. Heavyweight, it's just slightly different to most most weight categories, because you know, if you get caught by a heavyweight, no matter how good you are,
Yeah.
you know, you can go. And
Yeah, definitely so.
you know, but I was a bit surprised that it went as quickly as it did go.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Okay.
Telling you, man, it's been a pleasure. It's been an absolute pleasure, man. Is there anything else you would like to add or tell the public before we... Well, any more questions, Aaron?
No, I'll just say, like, you know, I had a great time. You know, so boxing sometimes comes under a bit of slack, but, you know, for me, it's been a great sport. You know, I met some great people and a great time. Fulfilled, you know, when you're a kid, you know, I had a dream to become a world champion. I had to fulfill that dream. And, you know, I always try and say to people in life, you know, if there's something you want to do, it doesn't have to be sport. You know, if you should go there and chase your dreams, because, you know, if you can kind of go out there and, even if you try, even if you don't, you know, it's nice to kind of go out there and do something you enjoy doing, and try and fulfill your potential.
Definitely.
Excellent, man. Excellent.
All right, Colin.
Sorry. Last question. What this is the last one. What's your take on all these fighters these days getting caught taking performance-enhancing substances? What's your take? What's your take on that?
Well, I think I've always been 100% against drugs. You know, so there's no. I know there's been a couple of recent cases where kind of fighters have taken drugs unknowingly, which I kind of like. I can understand, because obviously nowadays there's so much stuff which you're not supposed to take, and you don't realise how strict they can be. But I mean, anybody trying to take, you know, steroids or anything to try and improve the performance, give them an unfair advantage, you know, should be banned, because, you know, as I say, particularly boxing, which is a dangerous sport anyway.
Yeah.
You know, you should be completely drug free, and you know, you should be just based solely on your natural ability, and no kind of like unfair advantages.
Yeah. Did you hear or see anything suspicious that it was happening back when you was fighting?
Not really, as I don't think there was too much knowledge of anybody taking any kind of drugs back in the day.
Yeah.
You know, obviously apart from recreational kind of drugs, but there wasn't too much talk of people trying to take enhancing performance-enhancing drugs. Because I think, you know, times have changed, obviously, like medical advances. There are certain things which can kind of make you train better, longer.
Yeah.
And but at the time, there wasn't too much made of actual boxers taking, you know, those kind of drugs.
Okay. Well, it's been a pleasure for me. I mean, this is like, because out of all the boxers we interviewed, I know your career the most, so it's just been like, you know what I mean, it's been absolutely brilliant, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
Wish you all the best.
Yeah, wish you all the best, Colin. Thanks for the interview. Thanks for your time, Colin.
No problem, my friend.
It.
Yeah.
No problem.
All right, cool.
Take care.
All right,
Bye-bye.
take care. All right, bye.